Hello everyone. Welcome back to another enlightening episode of Mindset Matters, the podcast where we delve deeper into why and how we do what we do. Because awareness of it has the greatest potential in crafting our life the way we want it to be. Instead of living someone else's life unknowingly, just because we didn't get a chance to know ourselves better, doesn't mean we can't live it now. So, here at Mindset Matters, we strive to dig deeper into the thoughts behind our thoughts and unlock the power that shapes our reality. Isn't it fascinating? Today's episode is powerful, it's gentle, yet transformational. It's about seeing people for who they truly are, beyond their behaviors, beyond their mistakes, beyond the mask they sometimes wear. And believe it or not, we all wear masks when we are in different environments. And it reminds me of a very interesting concept of identity gap by Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's basically a gap between who we really are and how we appear to the outside world. And the greater the gap, the more disconnected we feel, not just from others, but from ourselves. So today's episode invites you to close that gap, to look beyond the surface, both in others and within yourself. Because when we start seeing people not just for what they do, but for what they have been through, that's where true understanding begins and healing follows. Let me start this podcast with a small story. It's a very powerful story. Imagine there is a boy about 10 or 11 years old. He must be in his 6th or 7th standard. One day, while secretly trying to eat a paratha during his online class, he accidentally spills a full of glass of milk all over his school books. After hearing the noise of glass, his mother walks in, sees the mess, and out of frustration she shouts at the boy, "How careless you are! Such a clumsy boy you are!" Now, he loves his mom, and for the boy, his mom is his concrete authority. In that moment, something inside him quietly shifts. He doesn't just hear, "You made a mistake." He hears, "You are a mistake." And unknowingly, a tiny part of his identity starts believing that maybe I'm a clumsy boy. As I said earlier, for that boy, his mom is his concrete authority. So he just accepted it unconsciously without even questioning it back. If you want to understand more about the concrete authority and abstract authority, click on the link shared in the description below. That is of one of my reels which I shared long time back. See, it's these small passing moments which often go unnoticed as one of the incidents that silently shape how we see ourselves. We don't even realize it, neither the boy nor the mom. And that's the thing. That's how we start forming our belief system in our childhood, completely unaware of how limiting they can be at times. Isn't it relatable? Believe me, we are all guilty of this, attaching people's behavior to their identity. We all do that. We say things like, "He's lazy." Like we have given the identity of lazy to an individual. Instead of that, we can say, "He didn't do his work." We say things, "She's irresponsible." Instead of, "She forgot to call back." "You're a bad kid." Instead of, "Throwing the remote wasn't okay." So, what we are doing here, we are detaching the behavior from the identity of that individual. We often confuse between what someone did with who someone is. But here's a light bulb moment: people are not their behaviors. People are people who are just figuring things out and making the best choices they can at the time by taking some actions which translates into their behavior. So people can be separated from their behaviors, but we generally see it as fun and attach their behavior to their identity. Let's understand in depth and unpack it fully in this episode. The principle that underpins all of this is unconditional acceptance and positive regard. It's a principle rooted in psychology and practiced by great coaches, therapists, parents, teachers, and anyone who chooses to lead with love instead of judgment. This principle says, I may not accept your behavior, but I still accept you. It also says, I may challenge your actions, but I will not discount who you are as an individual. Because behavior is external, it's visible, it's contextual, and most importantly, it's changeable. There is more to a person than what they do in a moment. I would say people are more than their behaviors and actions. Their kindness, their struggles, their dreams all still exist, and all putting together make the person far greater than any behavior they display, and that deserve our respect always. Imagine you walk into a village in Maharashtra and there is a little boy named Arjun. He steals mangoes from the neighbor's tree. The elders say he's a thief, but no one asks, is he hungry? No one wonders, is he lonely? And no one even thinks, is he doing it to grab attention? We jump to label the identity without understanding the root cause of the behavior. Now flip the lens. What if someone came to Arjun and asked, Beta, I know you are a good boy, but this behavior, it's not okay. What made you to get the mango like this? Just imagine the psychological safety that gives him. Now, Arjun doesn't have to defend his worth. He just has to reflect on his actions. Through the above question, he is now getting the opportunity to express himself. He can now safely apologize and say that he did to grab the attention of others, which he was missing in his life. Just imagine, if we label an individual as a thief, then we are sowing the seeds of this identity to that individual. Today, it just started as a mischief of getting attention. Tomorrow, it may turn to something else. As I said earlier, people are not their behavior. People are people, and their actions and behaviors can be corrected. That's what unconditional acceptance looks like. It separates the deed from the doer. And let's be honest, we all want this too, right? We all want people to unconditionally accept us. If we accept something, then we should be the one to give it first. I firmly believe in what we give, we receive. If you ever had a fight with someone you deeply care about, a friend, a partner, a sibling, you probably know this feeling. It's not always the argument itself that bothers us. It's that moment, that heavy moment, when you feel like they've stopped seeing you as you truly are. Suddenly, you become a version of yourself you don't even recognize. A version that has been given by someone you truly respect and care. That's just defined by a single bad moment. Just like the boy in our story who was given a label by his mom. It's like your entire identity gets replaced by a label. You never listen. You always mess things up. You are so selfish. All these are identity which we give to that individual. Ever heard something like that? Or maybe said something like that in the heat of the moment? These are not just words. They are not just about a single behavior. They become boxes. And boxes, my friend, are tight. They are closed. They don't leave a space to grow, to move, to breathe. And that becomes suffocating. And when that happens, it's not just a disagreement anymore. It becomes an identity crisis. Because suddenly, you're not just someone who made a mistake. You feel you are the mistake. And that hurts, doesn't it? But here's the thing, none of us are the worst thing we have ever done to ourselves. We are not our mistakes. We are not our worst moods. We are not just our lowest moments. We all are evolving stories. We all are work in progress. If we accept it, nothing like it. So maybe next time, whether you are on the giving end or receiving end of that kind of label, pause and reflect and ask yourself, am I speaking to the person or just reacting to the pain? Because deep down, don't we all want to be seen fully? Not reduced, not labeled, but understood. So, how do we change this? How do we influence behavior without rejecting people? So, there are few powerful tools which I'm going to elaborate now. Number one, Name the behavior, not the person. Now, that might sound like a small shift, but trust me, it's a big one. Think of it like this. Imagine you accidentally spill a cup of coffee on your table. What do? You call the housekeeping or grab a cup of tissues to clean it up. Nothing else. Simple, right? You say, I spilled the coffee. You are describing what just happened, not who you are. You don't say, I'm such a mess, or I'm a failure because I spilled coffee. That would sound silly, right? But that's exactly what we do when we turn behavior into identities. Instead of saying, you are careless, which sticks like a permanent label, try, that behavior seemed careless. What happened? Try to make the person more reflective about their behavior. Or maybe, what made you do that? Try to be a little more curious and interested to know the person better. It sounds softer, but it's not about being soft. It's about being wise. Because that one shift creates space for reflection, not shame. It creates a space for understanding, not for defense. When we point out the action instead of attacking the identity, we're not just giving feedback, we are giving a chance to grow, to self correct, to feel safe enough to be honest. And that's where real magic happens. And that's where real growth happens. And that's where real change begins. Second tool is empower the individual. Instead of you're always irresponsible, try to reframe it in a more empowering way. Like, I know you're capable of being responsible. I have seen it in you. Let's figure out what's getting in the way right now, which is stopping you. Or you may also reframe it where you separate the individual with the behavior. This moment doesn't define you. I know you care and you can take ownership when it truly matters. What made you do that? This question is very powerful. It will make the person reflect on his behavior, and it will also make that person recognize that he is empowered. So try to do that whenever you are in that situation. Number three, give space for people to explain. So often, when someone behaves in a way that upsets or disappoints us, our instinct is to judge or react quickly. But what if, just for a moment, we paused and gave them the space to explain, not to justify, not to defend, just share where they are coming from. You see, behind every behavior, especially the challenging ones, there is usually a reason, a story which we don't fully see yet. Think about it. When a child throws a tantrum, it's rarely about the toy they didn't get. It's about feeling unheard, unseen, or overwhelmed. Adults aren't that different. A colleague's short temper might be rooted in burnout. A friend's silence could stem from feeling unappreciated. What we do on the outside is often a reflection of something missing or hurting us on the inside. It's deep stuff, isn't it? Instead of rushing to judgment, what if we asked, what's really going on here? Or what need of this individual are not met? That simple act of curiosity, genuine curiosity, can shift everything. The question which I just asked, what needs of this individual are not met? It's again a very powerful one. So, what all we do generally, we all do things to meet some or other requirements of ourselves. And when those requirements are not met, there is a stress which creates that stress between us and the outside world. And that stress reflects in our behavior. So, this question invites connection. It bridges the gap of empathy and understanding. And when people feel seen and safe, they're much more likely to change, not out of pressure, but out of awareness and choice. So, next time you find yourself in a tough conversation, remember judgment closes hearts, but curiosity opens doors. What if your calm presence and open questions could be the key to someone else's healing? Number four could be acknowledge effort. Even when people don't get it right, noticing effort and acknowledging it helps them grow and become better. One can say, I saw you try to manage your time better today. Let's tweak it together. Acknowledge and appreciate their effort and see that there is a scope of further improvement. It's better not to suggest something but let it come out of from that individual. Because when it comes from that individual, there is a higher buy-in. There is a higher buy-in, there is a higher probability of that thing to accomplish. And there is a higher probability for that individual to accomplish that thing. And we all want to accomplish something in our life, isn't it? Number 5, reinforce identity positively. Say things like, you're a kind person. I know you didn't mean it to hurt me. You can also say, you are someone who cares. And I see that, even if today was hard for you. This way, you are helping someone build a better version of themselves without destroying who they already are, without attaching a label to their identity. Right? Think about children. We at times are so quick to say, you're a naughty boy. What if we said instead, you're such a smart and lovely boy, and this act of throwing the pencil wasn't like you. Let's talk about what happened. That single shift from labeling to listening, from judging to understanding, can literally shape a child's self worth for life. Because labels stick, don't they? You are lazy, you are too sensitive, you always mess up. Even if they are said in the heat of the moment, they continuously echo in child's mind even long after the moment has passed. Those words don't just describe a behavior, they start to define the person. This is very powerful. Let me repeat. Those words don't just describe a behavior, they start to define the person. And over time, children don't just hear those labels, they start to believe them, they internalize them. And that belief becomes the script they play in their head as they grow older. That becomes the limiting belief, which stops them to become the best or the better version of themselves. But you know what else sticks? Love and presence. And unconditional acceptance is the highest form of love. It's not about ignoring mistakes, it's about seeing the person beyond the mistake. It's saying, I love you, not only when you get it right, but even when you get it wrong. And that is the highest form of love. It's what builds trust, it's what builds resilience, and it's what allows a child or anyone to really grow into the best version of themselves. Not out of fear, but from a place of being deeply seen and supported. Here's a mantra I love to remind myself. Every person is doing the best they can with the resources, awareness, and emotional maturity they have at that moment. And when we accept that and operate from the above mantra, something magical happens. We stop judging and we start guiding. We stop attacking and we start transforming. We stop labeling and we start loving. So, whether it's your team member who missed a deadline, your friend who ghosted you for a week, your child who broke your favorite crockery, or even yourself, yes, you. We at times judge ourselves as well, don't we? Remember this, you're not your mistakes, you're not your worst moment. You are a person who is just figuring things out through some actions, through some behavior. And the behavior are not the individuals, right? We can separate the behavior from the individual. And neither is anyone else to be given an identity. Behavior can be changed, habits can be unlearned, but the human who is at the core of it, it needs to be seen, it needs to be respected, and most importantly, it needs to be accepted always. ALWAYS always. Let me end today's episode with a gentle reminder to all my listeners. Accept all people, influence their behavior when needed, and most importantly, always separate the action from the identity. Because people are not the mistakes they make. Just like a cloudy day doesn't define the sun, a bad behavior doesn't define the person. The sun is still shining behind the clouds, and people do have their light. Sometimes it's just hidden under a moment of stress, fear, or confusion. What we explore today is a powerful mindset shift that people are not their behaviors. This shift helps us lead with compassion, not with our children, with our friends or colleagues too, and yes, with ourselves too. Because if we accept ourselves better, then we give the opportunity to understand the others as well in a better way. When we stop labeling people and start labeling behavior, we give them the space to grow, to evolve, and to rise above their patterns. Because when you see the best in people, they rise to become it. If this episode touched something within you, do me a small favor. Share this episode as your Instagram story or put it on your WhatsApp status. You never know who might need this reminder today. Also, don't forget to leave a quick review on Spotify or Apple Podcast. It helps this message reach more hearts and minds who truly need it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and as always, keep listening and keep working on yourself because your mindset truly matters. Thank you.